Okay, we are going to see about textile fibers. Myself, Dr. M. Kanimoli, Assistant Professor, Department of Home Science, Sri Sharada College for Women, Salem. In this presentation, we are going to see about the introduction of textile fiber and the classification of textile fibers, which is done based on its length as well as based on its origin. And next, we will be moving on to the properties of textile fibers. We will be dealing with both primary as well as secondary properties. Finally, we will be concluding today's session. We move on to the introduction. It is well-known thing nowadays consumers are becoming eco-conscious. So in this textile fiber, we will be mainly dealing with natural fibers, which is too considered as an eco-friendly thing. Moreover, we will be also seeing the synthetic fibers too. But most importance is given to the natural fibers. First, let us see what is a fiber. Fiber is nothing but it is a basic building block of yarn and fabric. So from fiber, we can able to make yarn as well as fabric. So this fiber is considered as the raw material for this yarn as well as fabric. So we will be defining fiber as one of the major building blocks for making yarn as well as fabric. Then next we will be moving on to the classification of fiber. Fiber in general is classified into two major types. One is based upon its origin, that is nothing but from where we can obtain the fiber, from where we are getting the fiber. That is the source of the fiber. This is called as the origin of fiber. So based upon the origin, it is having a very broad classification. And the next one is based upon its length. That is, depending upon the length of the fiber, it is made into two types. One is a staple fiber, another one is a filament fiber. So staple is nothing but it is a short fiber. It is usually measured in inches as well as in centimeters. So if the fiber's length is in centimeter or in inches, it is grouped into staple fiber. If it is more, if the length is more, if it is measured in meters, it is called as filament fiber. So filament fiber is nothing but it is a continuous length of fiber which is usually measured in meters. A very good example is all the synthetic fibers. For example, polyester, nylon, acrylic, everything will come under this staple filament fiber. And one natural fiber which belongs to this filament fiber is nothing but it is a silk. Except silk, all the other natural fibers are grouped under staple fibers. Since it is measured in meters and centimeters, we will be grouping all the natural fibers. For example, we can take cotton, linen, wool, then flax fiber, everything will be grouped under staple. The only exemption is that is silk. So silk alone is a filament fiber, but all the natural fibers which we are obtaining from plants, animals, and also from some natural resources, that is minerals, it is grouped as staple. The only exception is, keep it in mind, it is only silk. Then all the synthetic fibers are grouped under filament fiber category. Then now we will be moving on to the broad classification that is based on its origin. So this textile fiber is broadly classified into two major types based on its origin. One is natural. From the name itself, you can clearly tell it is obtained from natural resources. And the next one is man-made. We will be using some raw materials which is obtained from nature, and we will be using some chemicals too. And as a human being, we will be synthesizing these fibers. So that fibers will be grouped under man-made fibers. Now let us delve with natural fibers. So this natural fiber is mainly of three major types. One is the plant fiber, another one is the animal fiber, and the last one is the mineral fiber. So what are the parts of the plant? From every part of the plant, we can able to get fiber. So it is a well-known thing. The part starts with the root. So just leave the root alone. After that, it will grow in stem, then leaf, followed with leaves, flower, fruit, seeds. So you can able to get fiber from all these parts. That is, from stem you can get fiber, from leaf you can get fiber, from fruit you can get fiber, from seed you can get fiber. Okay. So for example, if you talk about stem fiber, it is nothing but a bast fiber. You can tell a very good example is flax, linen, then hibiscus esculentus. All all these and all will be a bast fiber. And the next one is leaf fiber. A very good example of leaf fiber is pineapple fiber, Textile fiber. So these were the fibers which were obtained from the leaves of the cactus plants. Then next we will be seeing about the seed fiber. A well-known seed fiber is, it is known to all. It is a cotton. In Capactu is considered as a seed fiber. Then the fruit fiber is coir. Coir is considered as a fruit fiber. So from all parts of the plant you can able to get fiber exception of root. So from root alone you can't able to get any fiber. Then let us move on to the animal fiber. So this animal fiber is nothing but these fibers are taken from parts of the animals. For example, you will be getting wool from animals. So it is a wool fiber. Then we can get silk fiber from animal. That is nothing but the secretion of the animals. The animal will secrete some gummy substance. So once it reaches the atmosphere, it will get dry and it's converted into a fiber form. So this is the this is saliva secretion of a insect. So from that you can able to get silk fiber. So this silk and hair fiber, you can get hair from various types of animals like rabbit, angora, llama. From every type of animals you can get fibers, and these fibers are considered as the wool fiber. So these are the very two well-known animal fiber. And the next one is mineral fiber. The only known mineral fiber which is available from nature is asbestos, but all the others were only regenerated, only man-made. So these were the three types of fibers which is obtained from natural. One is the cellulose fiber. Cellulose is nothing but the fiber which we are obtained from plant in general is termed as cellulosic fiber. Then the next one is animal fiber. So animal fiber is usually termed as protein fiber. Since all the animal things contains protein, these fiber are termed as protein fiber. Then the next one is mineral fiber. Okay, shall we move on to the next topic? That is a man-made fiber. Okay. So this man-made fiber is again divided into two types. One is organic, another one is inorganic. It is fully synthetic, and the next one is organic. So in the organic, if you really mean, you can get polymers either from natural sources or from synthetic sources. From natural sources, if you get polymer means you can able to produce some fibers which are partially eco-friendly and partially not. For example, you can talk about rayon, lyocell, acetate, triacetate, then protein-based like Athlon, then rubber, that is a mineral-based. So these were the polymers which were obtained from, which were taken from natural sources. For example, rayon is nothing but we will be getting wood pulp, and through that wood pulp we will be treating some chemicals. It is converted into a fiber form. So the basic polymer which we obtain from nature. So this is called as a natural polymer-based organic fibers. Then, for example, Athlon is nothing but it is a protein fiber which we obtain from that is milk. So this is called as which is obtained from corn. Corn you can get Athlon fiber, and from milk you can get casein fiber. So the main polymer which is used for this Athlon as well as casein as well as soy is nothing but it is taken. It is a soy fiber. The main polymer is taken from soya beans. If it is a casein fiber, the main protein is taken from milk. Similarly, if it is Athlon fiber, the main polymer is taken from corn. Is it clear? Then the next one is rubber. So in this rubber is also main raw material is taken from a natural plant secretion. So you will be very familiar, no? Rubber is taken from a secretion of the plant. So that secretion is used as a raw material for making this natural polymer-based fibers. Then coming on to the totally synthetic polymer-based fibers, there are many synthetic fibers available. Acrylic, aramid, random, then aramid, then polyolefin, then polyester, then nylon. These were the 100% synthetic polymer-based fibers. Okay, so all the polymers used in this fiber are totally man-made or totally chemical. So this is the 100% synthetic one. But what we seen earlier was 50-50 ratios. That is, as natural polymer as well as synthetic polymer both are used. But in this one, 100% synthetic polymer is used. Then last, we will be moving on to the inorganic fiber. So these inorganic fibers are totally made up of heavy chemicals. That is glass, you can say metal, you can even say about some higher end modified fibers, that is Kevlar fiber. So these are all the higher end modified fibers. So all these fibers are 100% inorganic fibers. I think now you will be very much familiar with the textile classification. So keep it in mind, fiber classification is of two types. One is based upon its origin, another one is based upon its length. So based on origin, it is divided into majorly, that is mainly two types. One is the natural one, and the one is the man-made one. In natural, you can obtain natural fibers from plants, animals, as well as from natural mineral sources. And when you talk about synthetics, you can make synthetic fibers either organic or totally inorganic. So if it is organic, it is made from natural polymer, or it can be made from synthetic polymer. And the next category is 100% inorganic compounds. Then moving on to the classification based upon its length, it is mainly of two types. One is the staple. Staple short, you can easily remember it. The short length fiber, which is usually measured in inches and centimeters. And the next one, it is a filament fiber. It is usually measured in meters. For example, you can tell all synthetic fibers, that is all man-made fibers, will come under which category? Filament. And one natural fiber which come under filament is nothing but it is a silk. And all the natural fibers except the silk will come is a good example of staple. Is that clear? Then next we will be seeing about the textile fiber properties. So you will be knowing the food which we take also contains fiber, and we can see some terminologies in textile fiber. Do you know what is the difference between these two, or do you think all the fibers can be considered as a textile fiber? No, it is not possible. All the fibers, that is for example fiber which we intake or which we consume, cannot be considered as a textile fiber. If a fiber satisfies some properties, then only that fiber can be considered as a textile fiber. So this property of fiber is mainly divided into two types. One is the primary properties, another one is the secondary property. Primary property is nothing but the property which is very much essential, which is must. If the fiber possesses these primary properties only, it can be considered as a textile fiber. If it misses any one of this primary property, it is not at all considered as a textile fiber. So keep it in mind. This primary property is very much needed for all the textile fibers. In case of secondary properties, it is not that much important. For some particular end use, you need that property, but all the textile fibers need not have the secondary properties, but all the fibers should have these primary properties so that it can be considered as a textile fiber. Is it clear? So we can see what are the primary properties which plays a major important thing. First one is fiber length to width ratio. From this line itself, you can clearly tell the fiber should have more length when compared to its width. That is, when compared to its diameter, the length of the fiber should be more. Then only it can be used for textile purposes. Then the next one is tenacity. Tenacity is nothing but it is the adequate strength. The fiber should possess some strength. Then only that fiber can be spun into a yarn or it can be made into a fabric. Without the strength, if you do some processing, means the fiber will immediately break. So this property is also very much important for a textile fiber. Then the next one is flexibility. For example, you can see a broom. Okay, coconut broom. Do you think that coconut broom is a fiber only? Do you think that coconut broom can be used as a textile fiber? No, obviously. Why not? Means it lacks this flexibility. If it is made, it will break. Or if it is soft, means it will once again regain its normal shape. So that fiber lacks flexibility. So if the fiber doesn't have flexibility, it cannot be used for textile application purposes. Then the next one is pinnability or cohesiveness. Pinnability or cohesiveness is nothing but it is holding the fibers together by some small twist. If the fiber lacks pinnability or if the fibers lacks cohesiveness, that is the tendency to cling together, there is no use in making the fiber into a yarn. If you keep it and if you make it into a yarn, means it will once again regain to its original shape. So if it lacks cohesiveness or pinnability, it cannot be used as a textile fiber. Then the next one is uniformity. All the fibers should be uniform in size as well as shape. If it is not uniform, it cannot be used for any further purposes. So these 5 properties play a major role in determining the textile fibers. So first one is fiber length to width ratio, then tenacity or adequate strength, Then the next one is flexibility, and the next one is thinnability or cohesiveness, and the last one is uniformity. Now we will be moving on to the next of that is nothing but secondary properties. Secondary properties are called as non-essential properties. Primary properties is must, so it is called as essential properties, which is also known as desirable properties. But in case of secondary properties, it is considered as a non-desirable properties. Okay, what are the secondary properties? Let us see one by one. First one is physical shape. The shape of the fiber. It should have some particular shape in cross section as well as in the longitudinal section. So there should be surface irregularities. If the surface is having irregularities also, no problem. You can be using it as a textile fiber. Then the luster. Luster is nothing but the shininess of the fiber. It is not compulsory that all the textile fiber should possess luster. Some might have very good luster and some might not. But even though the fiber lacks luster, it can be considered as a textile fiber. Then the next is density. Density is nothing but it is expressed in mass per unit volume. So that is the fineness. Fineness is usually expressed in density too. It is usually nothing but it is a weight. How much weight for how much quantity. Then the next one is moisture regain and moisture content. Some fibers will be having a very good moisture content as well as very good moisture regain. For example, cotton is having very good moisture content. It will absorb more moisture from the atmosphere and it will be regaining that moisture in it. But in case of many synthetic fibers, it won't be having very good moisture content as well as moisture regain. But this property is not at all needed for some particular end use. For example, this moisture content and moisture regain is very much essential in some absorbency properties. It will give you more absorbency properties. So for that particular end use only you need this property. For not compulsory, it is needed for all the other fibers. Then elongation. Elongation is nothing but the structurability of the fiber. Okay, all the fibers should not have this elongation property because elongation is needed in some cases. In some cases, we don't want any elongation property. So depending upon the end use, you can select a fiber. Then the next one is elastic recovery. It is nothing but regaining its original position after elongation. So this is called as elastic recovery. Once you stretch the fiber, it needs to regain its shape. If it regains its shape entirely, it is having very good elastic recovery. If not, means elastic recovery is somewhat reduced. So depending upon the end use, the fiber can have any one of these properties or all the properties or not. Then the resiliency. Resiliency is nothing but ability to fiber to regain its original shape after pressing or after crushing or after some usages. Once the fabric is used, for example, if a bedspread is used, it should have some particular amount of resiliency. If not, it will shrink a lot. So this resiliency is needed mainly for bedspreads or some particular end use. It is needed now. It is not needed for all the textile fibers. Then the shrinkage. Shrinkage is nothing but once you wash the fabric, if you put it in the water, it will crush, it will shrink, it will reduce its size. So reduction of textile size is called as a shrinkage. Some fibers will shrink. For example, mostly natural fibers will shrink. In case of synthetic fibers, it doesn't shrink. Then the last one is drapability. Drapability is nothing but hangingness of the fiber with its own weight. So if you wear a saree or if you wear some dress, some fabric will be draped automatically with its own weight. So this property is not at all needed for all the textile fibers. So this property is called as drapability. So these were the most commonly used secondary properties of the textile fibers. So physical shape, luster, density, moisture content and regain, elongation, elastic recovery, resiliency, shrinkage and drapability. This property is not at all needed compulsorily for all the fibers. Some fibers can possess these properties and some might not. So there is no issues. But all the fibers should compulsorily have the primary properties, and then only that fibers will be considered as a textile fiber. So keep this in mind very clearly. So at last, I would like to conclude by saying thus textile fibers is considered as a very important thing for the textile fabric. So this is a raw material from which you can able to produce yarn as well as fabric. So this textile fabric is the main important source for fabric formation. So it is a must that you should possess some knowledge about this textile fibers. Thank you.